In this video, I'm gonna try and respond to a caller who called into a show called the Atheist Experience. I'm trying to convince the the host of the show that something cannot come from nothing. The caller tries very passionately tries to convince the host rather passionately that something cannot come from nothing. The host's only response to that statement is that he does not agree with the the statement of the caller that something cannot come from nothing, simply because nothing does not exist in nature. There is no such thing as nothing. So for that reason, the host of the Atheist Experience sticks to the statement that he does not agree that something cannot come from nothing. It is probable, but uh, he cannot basically convincingly state. No one can convincingly state that something cannot come from nothing. The host simply states that he does not agree with the statement. Well, that's a very comfortable position to take. The host also very clearly points out to the caller that he does not say that something can come from nothing. The host is very clear about it. He just says that he does not agree with the statement that something cannot come from nothing. Now, what I want to try and illustrate in a very basic sense is that what the stance that the host is taking is rather flawed. Now, when Newton discovered gravity, uh, he basically saw that an object fell down from a tree. Now, he thought about the reasons why something would fall down from a tree, and he induced that something exists that is pulling a smaller object towards a larger object. At that time, there was no such thing as zero gravity or no gravity. It was until much later that we came up with the technology to create zero gravity. No one had at that time gone into space or experienced zero gravity. Newton induced that this could be the reason, and it might have been, it could have been false. I mean, according to the logic that the host is taking, it could be something else completely. That could have drawn the object towards Earth. But when he experimented with several objects, all of the objects showed the same properties, showed the same behavior. So he was compelled to deduce that there is a pull that exists that pulls a certain object towards a larger body. In the same manner, this is exactly the way science behaves. You observe the behavior of something, see that if it is reproducible, and then you come up with a theory. That theory may be wrong, may not be wrong. Maybe at a certain point in time in the future, the theory may be refuted and a new theory might come about. But at that point, Newton was able to induce that there is a pull that exists. Not because he could not experience zero gravity, or he could experience zero gravity, and that he could understand that nothing is pulled towards a larger object when there is no gravity. It's simply because he saw many objects show the same property. Now, that said, that's the logic that Newton, as a scientist, took. As a person of science, I rather would rely on a scientific approach. It's very easy to logically prove and disprove different things. Hey, in court, you can prove that a person who committed a crime did not actually commit a crime rather easily. You see many criminals being let out of our court system simply because the other side could not prove that this person actually committed a crime, but that does not mean that this person did not commit a crime. That said, let me move to something that actually can prove that something has to come from something. And I'm going to be very simple at it. I'm going to fall back on the laws of thermodynamics, the laws of physics that govern nature. The law of conservation of energy states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can always change its form from one form to another, from basically kinetic to something else. It can always, from potential energy to kinetic energy, or from kinetic to potential, or from mechanical to kinetic. But at the end of the day, the sum of the total energy in nature has to always remain the same. This law governs everything in nature. This law by itself is enough to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that something has to come from something. I'd leave it at that. I think that's a fair argument to make. A simple person can relate to my argument rather than going into confusing logic that this host is trying to make. Thank you.